It's currently 11:47 p.m. This is some homemade chicken noodle soup made by my mom. She initially made it for my sister, but made so much that there was enough for all of us to have some. And I could have had some around 6:15 p.m. when my mom and sister had some, but I instead had the 2 things of sushi that mom packed, along with a bottle of brine dairy whole milk. It was meant to be my lunch that I would have during my shift at Wegmans, which was from 1:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. And I took my 15-minute break around I took it at 5:30 p.m. but decided not to have any of the lunch that was packed for me at that time, and instead ate everything upon getting back, my mom driving me back to her place after picking me up after work. As she felt 15 minutes wouldn't be enough time for me to eat both packs of sushi. Well, technically 1 pack of sushi and 1 pack of sashimi. And that bottle of brine dairy whole milk. I could have eaten that all in 15 minutes, as I have done similarly during previous shifts at Wegmans, but my mom didn't want me to rush while eating, and so it was decided before my mom drove me to work today around 1 p.m. Right after mom drove me to work, right after I had 2 of the leftover Texas Hots with some whole milk. A glass of whole milk. I recall after going to bed last night around 1:15 in the morning or so, waking up around 9:45 in the morning naturally. I recall having a cup of plain coffee that my mom made and working on the triangle ball polystyrene drawing project while sipping at that cup of plain coffee after getting up around 11 in the morning, around the time my mom got up. I worked on the triangle ball polystyrene drawing project both roughly from about 11:30 in the morning to 12:30 p.m. before mom drove me to the Wegmans I work at. That half hour afterwards, that last half hour before mom drove me to the Wegmans I work at, it was essentially of me getting ready for work today. I also worked on the triangle ball roughly from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at a pretty casual pace. before I decided to review the audio and video of the December 27 My Dinner video, which I edited right before my shift started while I was at Wegmans, and then uploaded to my YouTube channel. While I was in my mom's car, being driven back to her place. I then deleted both the U-Cut video project file I uploaded as the December 27 My Dinner video and the raw video files that were used to make that U-Cut video project file to make room for me to edit and then upload the December 28 My Dinner video, roughly from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. 11:30 p.m. as the latest time for when the December 28 My Dinner video finished uploading. My shift at Wegmans today went pretty much as usual. I again restocked merchandise from the produce holding area back into the produce department of the supermarket, while doing my best to assist passing customers, to assist customers if they requested assistance. Usually this was for looking for a specific item, which if we didn't have it out in the open, I would try and look for it within the produce holding area. And I would, if I had a chance to, I would ask one of my coworkers if they knew where the item was. This being what I would do by default, since I haven't worked at Wegmans for very long. And also, I would offer assistance to some passing customers, but usually if a customer wanted assistance, they would get my attention rather than me getting their attention. With one exception of a customer requesting assistance with something after I got his attention. Today I saw a majority of the coworkers I'm more familiar with at this point. I restocked the banana section several times, though if I did this, it didn't mean that the banana section was completely empty. It just meant there was considerable empty space in between bunches of bananas. At one point, I ripped a mildly rotten banana. About just the bottom half was blackened, and it didn't seem mushy to me, but it still seemed too bad for it to be considered sellable, so I pulled it, ripping it off the otherwise healthy bunch. Towards the end of my shift, while restocking the sweet potatoes, I encountered a few rotten sweet potatoes and pulled those too. There was also a point around the middle of my shift today in which I restocked the mushroom section of the produce department using two different mushroom runners. That were both from the produce holding area. And I also restocked the banana runner twice during my shift. One time at the very end after taking my 15-minute break, and the other time I think after about 2 hours or so. I also had some water using a paper cup, a tall paper cup that I left on my cart for today throughout my shift. I recall having a total of about 2 glasses of water from that tall paper cup. Throughout my shift today, I primarily restocked the banana section and hard items. Essentially those sort of wooden display shelving units that were right in front of the bananas section, which is at the back of the produce department. Those wooden areas in particular, those are where hard items go, such as the various onions and potatoes we sell within the produce department, but hard items includes items other than those potatoes and onions. Those are just the ones that come to mind first when I think of hard items. It was what was I think it was told to me at one point by a coworker that is a supervisor that the onions and potatoes are hard items.